13 of the most common SaaS and technology paid social targeting mistakes. We recently just audited 237 accounts, spends ranging from $30,000 a month to $1 million a month. And here's the most common mistakes we saw. First is using lookalike audiences. We've tested this a lot, unfortunately the quality always suffers. Number 2, audience being too small. You need to learn something, you need to have a big enough audience, but you also don't want to be too big, which is number 3, having a bit too big of an audience. The nuance matters here based on your company, but a lot of companies should not have a 500,000 person audience. Your audience size should be your audience size based on the companies and the people that you're going after. Number 4, not excluding customers, competitors, or even your own company. Number 5, not using permanently lives in rather than just visited. It's a big difference on who you're going after, especially if you're targeting specific geographies. Number 6, using audience expansion. Unfortunately, we've tested this a lot. Cost per clicks, CPMs always lower, and that all looks great, but the quality really does suffer, and it's just a no-no in my book. 7, using interest only. Especially for B2B, you want to make sure you're adding in additional filters on top of that, and interest should just be an additional thing to company and job title or seniority and function targeting. Number 8, not paying attention to frequency metrics. Your ad frequency really does matter. You don't want ad fatigue to really set in, so you need to keep a close eye on that. If you're relying on one ad, you're not going to learn anything, and you're going to see a lot lower performance. Number 9, only targeting the decision makers and not the influencers or users. Big mistake here, because it depends on your campaign if you're doing direct response versus brand awareness, but you want to be targeted, but you also do not want to miss out on the people that have an influence on the actual decision making. Number 10, relying on Facebook's B2B targeting, especially if you're in B2B. Use a Clearbit advertising or a metadata to import B2B contacts into Facebook. If you just rely on Facebook's B2B targeting, you'll see the quality issues very fast. Number 11, not checking your demographic reports. This thing gives us a really cool demographic report that'll show the countries, the people, the job titles, the companies that your ads are actually showing up for. Check that often, look for exclusions, things that are off, and use that for your campaigns to make them even better. It's the coolest tool I've ever seen that any company actually gives us, and you don't even have to use it for paid ads. You can use it just on your website too. Number 12, not investing enough in creative copywriting and landing pages. Once you have your targeting dialed in, the difference maker between you and all the other companies is going to be your creative, your copywriting, your company's point of view. Invest in that stuff and not just ad spend, and you'll see a lot better results. 13, not setting up tracking in your CRM. You'd think this would be just common now, but a lot of accounts do not have the correct tracking set up, which makes it very hard to even track the performance of your LinkedIn ads, your Facebook, any platform. Make sure your tracking's dialed in and everything's really tracking, so you can actually see the performance and make adjustments from there. So that's 13 of the most common paid social targeting mistakes I've seen across a lot of accounts. Now, obviously, nuance matters depending on your audience, the companies you're going after, enterprises, mid-market, SMB, all of that really does matter. The ones that we've seen across a lot of accounts with different spends that can really have an impact on your campaign's performance.